Hi friends, welcome to this tutorial. In this video, we will discuss what's new in Angular 6 and what are the improvements in Angular 6. Before that, we have a small introduction of Angular. Angular is the most popular web development framework for developing mobile apps as well as the desktop applications. Also, you knew that Angular is an open source framework and it's written in TypeScript. So it comes with all capabilities that TypeScript offers. Now you don't worry about the TypeScript versions because the compiler manages to the versioning related problems. Keep and try to upgrading Angular because the Angular's community has announced Angular releases in every 6 months. Okay, recently Angular 6 released Angular 6 being smaller, faster and easier to use and it will make a developer's life easier. Let's start to explore all the changes of Angular 6 step by step. First step, it added a ng update command. Ng update. The CLI command will update your Angular project dependencies to their latest versions. This ng update is normal package manager tool to identify and update other dependencies. Okay. Angular 6 uses RxJS 6. This is the third party library and introduces two important changes as compared to RxJS 5. That is, RxJS introduces a new internal package structure and operator concept. Both are requires you to update your code. For that, to update RxJS 6, run this command. To update existing Angular project, to run this command. Okay. Now, RxJS related import parts. Before we used like this. For observable, we have a one import statement. For subject, we have a one import statement. Now, in Angular 6, we can use like this for single statement. So all from RxJS something observable or subject like that import become from one RxJS. Okay. Next, operator imports have to change. Okay. Instead of this two import statements, now we can use it in single import statement. Sorry. For here we have another example. Before that we used RxJS add observable of. Now we can use like this. Okay. Next, CLI update and added a new project config file. Here, before when creating an Angular 5 project, we have a file config file angular cli.json. Now in Angular 6, we have a file with the name of angular.json. Okay. This command helps you to update your existing angular cli.json file to the new angular.json file. Okay. The angular.json file contains the below properties. Okay. Version. This is an integer file format version. Next, new project root. This is a string path where new projects will be created. Third one is default project. This is default project name used in commands. Okay. Fourth one is CLI. This is a workspace configuration options for Angular CLI and it contains a default collection, package manager, warnings and so on. Next we have schematics. This is a configuration options for schematics. Last one is projects. This is configuration options for each project in the workspace and it contains root, source root, project type, prefix, schematics and architect. Architect means it's a project configuration for architect targets. Next, Angular 6, the template deprecated. Now Angular 6 introduced ng template. Previously you are using n template like this. Now we can use ng hyphen template. Next, we have service level changes in Angular 6. In the earlier versions, if you want to provide your service to the entire application, that means globally, you should add it to the providers array. in the app module file. In Anglo 6, you should not add in the providers array in the app module. Okay. Say for example, see here. Here we have in providers array we mention my service, that service name. This is Anglo 6 code. Here we no need to mention that a service in this providers array. This is one obviously saves your some lines of code as compared to the previous code. Okay. Next, Anglo 6 introduces below things: Anglo Elements, IVY Renderer, Bazel Compiler. First, start from Anglo Elements. The elements are a feature that allows you to compile Angular components to native web components, okay, which you can use in your Angular application. An Angular element is a package which is part of Angular framework at the rate Anglo/elements. Next, we have IVY Renderer. IVY Renderer is a new rendering engine. It's not stable for now and it's only in beta version. So it will stable in I think Anglo 7 in future for production. Okay. The main goal of IVY Renderer is to speed up its loading time and reduce the bundle size of your applications. For Angular, this will not be a default renderer, but you can manually enable it in compiler options. At last, we have Bazel compiler. The Bazel compiler is used for nearly all software built at Google. From Angular 6, we'll start having the Bazel compiler support, and when you compile the code with Bazel compiler, you will recompile entire code base, but it compiles only with necessary code. The Bazel compiler uses advanced local and distributed caching and optimized dependency analysis and parallel execution. Okay. Next, Anglo 6 replaces the context, record, and injectors. Okay, let's have a look. Replace ng outlet context with ng template outlet context. Replace collection change record with a iterable change record. Now, in Anglo 6, we use renderer 2 instead of renderer. Now use static injector instead of reflective injector. Next, Anglo 6 renamed operators. Anglo 6 renamed some operators name, okay, that are displayed here. Next, updates on ng model change. Okay. In Anglo 6, it emitted after a value and a validity is updated on its control. Previously, it was emitted before the update. You can see here, previously we used like this in our ng model change. We call this from event. Okay. In the year, we are not using the updated value. Sorry, we used with updated value, not an old value. In Anglo 6, now we can use like this. Here, we can use old value, but not with updated value. Okay. This is the major changes in Anglo 6 compared to Anglo 5. Okay friends, if you found this video is helpful, please don't forget to subscribe this channel. See you there in next video with interesting topic. Okay, thank you.